I would love to introduce to you now President and CEO Dirk Draper of the Colorado Springs Chamber and EDC. And all right, Dirk, you're unmuted, so go ahead.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. See some nice familiar faces there, and it's probably you appreciate this as much as I do, just seeing familiar faces these days in this world of social distancing. Robert, nice to see you there again. Robert Phelan there at the world headquarters of something. I don't know what your background is, but it's lively and it looks important. Ed Bear, always a pleasure to see you, friend. Looks like maybe you skipped shaving for a couple of days, perhaps. It's great to see you. And Barb, there you go. And Barb, thanks for joining us and appreciate your words, your good words for everyone yesterday. I'm going to fold some of those in today. So today's, thank you for joining us in what's turning into a grand experiment in communication and social networking. We know it's important for you as business leaders, as just humans and individuals to maintain connections during these days and to continue cultivating your network. We're very excited at the Chamber and EDC to partner with Support the Springs to use this forum to continue those opportunities for a daily briefing, a daily connection, some news and other things to support the good work that Support the Springs is doing in our community. My topic today is leading a team remotely. As we're all adjusting to a new lifestyle, I'll tell you some things that we're using at the Chamber and EDC, some things that I've learned, and hopefully they'll be useful for you. We will have some breakout sessions towards the end, and I'll prompt some of those discussions with a couple of starter questions for you. And I know you'll take it from there. So the first thing that I've learned is what Zoom is. If you'd asked me a month ago, never heard of it, hadn't used it, and today I'm, well, look at my background, that's not natural. I've got a whole suite of photos that I have imported and used to just convey different messages for different settings. Some are vacation pics, some of them are business related, and it's learned how to do breakout rooms and learned how to use this technology. I'm just grateful for the proliferation of communication tools and our ability to use and access those. They do come with limitations. I'm calling you from my office today because my internet network at home tends to be sporadic. I know some of you experience that as well with the heavy loads that are being carried on the telecommunication systems. So I'll be heading home right after our Zoom, but I didn't want to drop in the process. So we're using Zoom for just about all of our business at the Chamber these days. Starting with a daily huddle that I do with my senior team. Sometimes it's 15 minutes and sometimes it's an hour and 15 minutes to make sure that we're connected, that we're informed, we're aware of what each other are doing in the community. We have committee meetings. We have projects like this. Pardon me, that's my phone ringing. Let me mute that. I'm back. Speaking of dealing with technology and adapting. And last week we ran our first board of directors meeting on a virtual basis. Maybe not coincidentally, we had the best turnout ever, best attendance ever for board of directors meeting. I know everybody's schedules have been disrupted in these days, but we shifted our content some, we shifted our agenda, but we had more than 50 people between staff and some guests and others on the line and managed to pull that off with kudos from the participants about the clear communication. Obviously, we're using Zoom right now, and a little bit later, I would appreciate you all sharing other tools that you're using or other experiences that you've had in virtual remote communications like this. So suggestion number one or experience number one that we have at the Chamber and EDC is to embrace that emerging technology. Second one is to increase our visibility as leaders through our communications. Inclusivity has been very important for our team. In the first days when we started working remotely, I met just with Chris Carlson, my exec assistant, and with Chuck Arnold, our operations director, and the three of us would talk and realized very quickly we needed to broaden that. And today what I'm doing, currently what I'm doing is a daily huddle with my entire senior team And weekly, I have an all-staff meeting on Zoom as well. This is a big increase in the cadence of communication we have at the Chamber and EDC. I used to do bi-monthly all-staff meetings and bi-monthly senior team meetings. You can see in the current conditions, we've really ramped that up. The psychic connection of seeing each other has been an important part of our team function. Literally just the facial connection to restore some familiarity to our workplace, I think has been essential. My senior team meets with their teams as well also. So I wish I was a stockholder in Zoom, should have bought it early because we are using it. And I know there are billions of Zoom meetings happening around the world today. While we're all updating each other on projects and the activity that we're doing to serve our members, our operations director, Chuck Arnold, is monitoring news and emerging situations with COVID-19, literally by the hour. He sends a daily update to our entire staff team at the end of the day with facts and figures, just so we've got current direct information from state and federal health agencies. The news isn't always pleasant, but it's essential for us to be informed. And I'd say if your news isn't at least somewhat unpleasant right now, ask yourself if you're being honest with your teams. That transparency and that candor is very important to build trust and to share directly the circumstances and situations that we're all facing. If the old norm was to text or email or use IM to your colleagues, even if you were in the same office, the new norm now is to Zoom or to call and make that personal connection. The biggest single mistake in a crisis is indifference. And the biggest single way that we can combat that is by more frequent and more clear communication with our teams. Third suggestion I have from our experiences is to delegate beyond your comfort zone, especially more so than you did in the old norm, and probably more so than you feel comfortable personally and professionally doing right now. As quickly as conditions are changing, decentralized decisions are essential for your organization's agility. In the business community that we're monitoring, again, at the local, state, and federal level, the conditions that change for us, I have members of my team who are watching different news tracks or different organizations' information to share with each other. I couldn't do it all myself, and I'm really relying on my entire team to embrace that delegation and to go forward with it. I've also enabled our team to make decisions to be very gentle in cases of well-intended errors, mistakes that occur. You're going to see that as we embrace technology and as we all bob and weave through the world that we're in at the moment. But it's also essential to relieve yourself as a leader of the obligation of being the bottleneck for every decision for your organization. If you're not uncomfortable, stretch that. Fourth tip I have is to think like an oxygen mask. What do they tell us in safety briefings in commercial airline flights? Who thought we'd ever miss those? But in case of a rapid descent, a loss of pressure, put on your oxygen mask and put yours on first before you help another passenger. Folks, we're experiencing a loss of pressure, and you know what that means right now. Intuitively, we know it's important to take care of ourselves. Barb, you did a great job with that yesterday and walking us through some exercises and some tips for that, especially during the stress and the added challenges of adjusting to our home office and surroundings. Hopefully, you learned yesterday some breathing techniques from Barb yesterday. Nobody in leadership asked for this role that we're in today. Nobody that I know of was prepared for the conditions, the extreme conditions that we're facing right now. However, I would say, and this is an encouragement for you, if history shows us one thing, it's that our greatest leaders emerge in the darkest moments. A couple of things for our team. On Monday, Cecilia Harry's husband, Cecilia is our Chief Economic Development Officer. Her husband is a physical therapist. He joined us for the first 5 or 6 minutes of our all-staff meeting and led us in stretches and guidelines on posture, and including how often we need to get up and stand and move around and just remain limber and flexible. His tip, by the way, I'm going to see if Barb nods to this. His tip was every 15 minutes. If you're on a call, you should stand up, move, stretch, and flex. I personally had the experience over the weekend of starting to have what turned out to be just muscle spasms in my chest. I was concerned I was having literally a cardiac condition, left side of my torso, muscle spasms and discomfort. And it turns out I just been sitting for 8 hours at a time for the last 5 or 10 days on Zoom meetings like this. I'm in this position for 6 or 8 or 10 hours a day, and I'm sure a number of you are as well. I have the benefit of having a brother who's a doctor. Called, did a phone consult with him. He talked me through it, and heat, ice, and ibuprofen, and I'm back, and stretching every 15 minutes, and I'm back to normal. So take care of yourselves in the process and in the conditions that we're in right now. I'm not a funny guy. I don't tell jokes very well, but we have worked at the Chamber in EDC to mix in some fun in our current conditions. Last Wednesday at 5 o'clock, 5:01, we started our first virtual happy hour. It was a BYOB. Probably don't need to explain that much, but it was a BYOP as well. Everybody brought their own pets. We had cats and dogs, pictures of them, and so forth. We're doing one again tomorrow afternoon, 5:01. And we're doing a broader theme of do something tropical, Hawaiian shirt, a rum-based drink, or something else that suits. Play with your background photo. Just some things you can do to alleviate some of the stress just a little bit and humanize the experience of this electronic communications. So before we go to breakout rooms, let me just recap those 4. One is embrace technology, learn how to use it, minimize the glitches, get used to the world that we're in right now for a period of time. Number 2, increase your visibility as a leader through more frequent and more candid, transparent communications. Number 3, delegate beyond your comfort zone. If you're not stretching, now's a great time to do it, figuratively speaking. And number 4, think like an oxygen mask. If you're not stretching, now's a great time to do it, literally. So before we go to our breakout rooms, I want to share with you just a little virtual public service announcement, make you aware of some of the things that we're doing at the Chamber in EDC. As we deal with the disruption that we have and that we know you're facing in the business community as well. First thing we want you to know is we are advocating for your businesses. We are in frequent contact with local, state, and federal officials on your behalf. Our focus is on maintaining and mobilizing financial resources and securing swift regulatory relief. Last week, we co-hosted a telephone town hall with Senator Cory Gardner, and that was as the vote was being taken, just before the vote was taken in the Senate, so he could hear directly from our local business community questions and concerns about the federal aid package as that was approved last week. This Friday, we're co-hosting another telephone town hall with Senator Michael Bennet. Watch for your email for an invite, an Evite invitation to that. That's coming out later today. Number 2, we're monitoring federal and state and local aid packages and sharing that information with you as quickly as it emerges. Check out our blog. This was posted yesterday, I believe, Breaking Down the CARES Act. That's C-A-R-E-S. That's one of the federal relief packages. Breaking Down the CARES Act. What does it mean for your business? Grab a pencil. I'll give you that address here in just a moment. We're also okay, moment's past. Here's the path to that. Our website, cscedc.com, cscedc.com/CARES, C-A-R-E-S. Look at that blog. We're also starting this week bringing back our Chamber Connects. Many of you have participated in those. A couple of times a month, we pull together a subject matter expert and share information around the community. We're increasing the frequency to doing that on a weekly basis right now. Our first event is this Thursday, featuring a panel of legal, financial, and accounting experts to answer your questions on how to best benefit from aid that's available right now. Again, watch for an Evite later today for that. The subject matter experts for this first session are from Lewis, Roca, Rothgerber, and Christie. It's an attorney's firm here in town, law firm here in town. 5 Star Bank on finance, and Stockman, Cast, and Ryan in accounting. Not coincidentally, senior leaders of those 3 organizations are on our board of directors. Bill Nelson, Aileen Barrios, and Trinity Bradley Anderson. And it's one more way that the Chamber and EDC and our leadership group is stepping up to help serve the business community right now. So that's this Thursday at noon. Watch for that for Chamber Connects. We'll continue to roll that out on a weekly basis. We intend those will be on Thursdays, and we'll publicize the speakers and the content and ask you to join us as you see topics that are of interest to you. Keep an eye out for the lineup. And on a local level, important announcement was made yesterday by one of our community's accelerators, Exponential Impact. They launched an emergency loan fund to aid Colorado Springs small businesses. It's called Survive and Thrive COS. Provides recovery funding, mentoring, and other resources to increase the sustainability and future growth of small business in our Pikes Peak region. Cecilia, Harry, and I both are involved in that in review and strategy roles, cooperating with them. We're very appreciative to see that group of entrepreneurs step forward with this community funding opportunity. It's badly needed, quick turn capital, and they expect to begin distributing the first emergency loans this week. Finally, for the latest resource in all those areas, policy, resources, news channels, visit our website, cscedc.com, and if you scroll down just below your main screen, you're going to see a link to our COVID-19 page. We're updating it daily, in some cases hourly, as news emerges and conditions change. With that, I'll close, and Emma, I'm going to turn it back to you to go to some breakout rooms.